Hi everyone, let's talk about Monsterlands, which is on Kickstarter right now. You can check out the campaign page in the description to see all the stretch goals and what the final thing's going to look like. But again, as I said, this is a pretty good representation. This is a really nice prototype. Anyway, this is a really nice, solid dice placement game. It's got a lot of new things to learn, I would say, at the beginning. But once you are into it and used to the flow of the game, it goes very quickly and is very simple. The persuasion dice are a nice little way of competing for discounts on things. You can see what everybody's values are at the start, so it's a nice way of I've rolled a lower number, so I want the other person to try and get a discount first, so I can combine that and get a really huge discount. But are they going to take the thing that I want first? That's a really nice little thing that you don't really see. The adding your mercenaries is nice. You have a limit based on the glory that you have, so you need to earn more points before you can buy more points worth of mercenaries to keep your dice pool getting higher and higher, because you don't have many to start with. I will say that towards the end, it seems like you have too many dice, so you might as well compete on everything because you have so many dice. But that's just kind of a flow of the game. That's if the game lasts that long. It can end early if somebody manages to get 30 points. Then you tot up all the points when you get to that event. We didn't really see monsters getting to the Citadel. This is surprising. This is more monsters killed in this game than I've seen. Or we didn't really. I don't think we failed at fighting the monsters. We failed at missions, which were much easier. But yeah, it tends to be the monsters that you fail at. And then they come to the Citadel, and the thing we didn't see in the playthrough is they start shutting down certain locations. You won't be able to go to them next round, and you need to send people to fight at the Citadel, which you get some defense built in for, because you're fortified by the city, and you try and fight the monster there instead. So yeah, it's got a ton of things to think about. Do you buy traps? Do you buy defense? Do you buy potions? Do you go for the missions, because they will tend to get you a lot more money? Although capturing the monsters will get you a nice reward, but that is, depending on the monster, can be really hard to do. There can only be 1 point in it sometimes between you being able to capture a monster or you end up killing it. And it's a nice little thing as well. The dice do the little tile as well, the header tile that comes when a land is changed, can really change up the amount you can take as well. Like this one is a really, really low number of dice that you can take to fight a monster, where sometimes if you haven't got the right powers, you need a really, really high number, and it just might not happen because you just can't take enough. You have got the traps to balance that out, which is nice. You can add more dice or add value to the dice. They're nice if you can combine getting a load of equipment that increases certain dice colors, and then you have traps as well. Then you can not really have to worry about that. And there's always, if you do completely fail at everything you go for, then there is always some loot that you can get as a consolation. And you get the gold as a mercenary for the missions, not the mercenaries, if you don't manage to, get the full thing. So you are always getting something, although it's usually, you want to win. It's way, way better if you do win. The two-player game does cut off, half of the board. There are usually 2 monsters and 2 lands here to compete for. In the two-player game, though, to, drive the competition, it shuts one of those down and puts you on here. And I will say that it's a lot more, you have to just try and get in front of the other person. Sometimes that can really hurt you because, the defense token might be on the next space on the header tile, and you really needed that defense token to stay alive in this, because the monsters can just wipe your mercenaries out sometimes if they roll right. So yeah, because you're all on here, especially once you get going and you've got a load of dice, you are really competing over here. And although you do always end up with something, you always end up with a loot token and things to help you next round, sometimes that isn't a great consolation. And it's kind of the nature of the game that is the issue there. I don't think it's a bad thing in the game at all. It's going for that real fierce competition thing in the two-player game, and I think that is something that we didn't really like about it, but I can see that some people will really, really love it. And if you don't, mainly play at 2 players, if you play it as soon as you play at 3 players, it'll be quite open, because there will be both lands available, but only 3 people competing over all of these things. 4 players, it's going to be a similar situation, isn't it? Where two sets of lands, but 2 people competing on each one, or mixed across all of them. So that was the thing we thought as well. And I think, for me, even though there are these different mitigation things, there is a kind of race to get to these monster things. And it felt in our plays, like I say, we don't usually kill this many monsters. It feels to me that even though there are these ways of manipulating them, sometimes it is just, you're at the complete mercy of the dice, and there's nothing much you can do about it. Even, it's just the nature of dice that, sometimes you're just going to roll ridiculously low. And we did have, our very first game was a bit of a shame because we just kept rolling, ones and twos and things. And even all of the stuff that we'd bought and the extra dice to take and the rerolls and things just couldn't solve that. And we were kind of, stuck in a rut. That didn't happen again. But it does, it did feel to me like we were too much at the mercy of dice for my liking. But anyway, that is just me. And I think that most people won't have, a problem with that and, the tightness of a two-player game. I think there's a lot to like here. There's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot to think about. The artwork's nice. As I said, this is a really nice, solid prototype. But you can, the playthrough is there for you to go and look at and see if it would be a game for you. And again, the Kickstarter page, and I'm sure there are other videos and things there you can check out. But that is, I think, is it. That is Monsterlands. Thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.